Hi, today is February 10th, 2012. My name is Maria Guerrero, class of 2012, and I am here with Miss Avila Miranda, class of 1977. Okay, so let's get started. What was South Tucson like when you were in high school?
South Tucson was like it is now. I don't see a big difference. I did grow up near Pueblo, right here on 41st, and then we moved to Columbia and Liberty. I used to walk to school. I went to St. John's growing up, and we walked to school. And then 1 year before we moved from 41st to Columbia, I went to Wakefield. So I got to have different friends, from our St. John's group to our Wakefield group, from our neighborhood school, from our non-neighborhood school. And so it was fine. I didn't see any problem. Like my mom and dad still live on Columbia, and I go there often, and I don't see much difference.
Was there a difference between St. John and Wakefield or any other middle school?
Besides friends, I mean, St. John's is a different community. Most kids that they start when they're really young. Like I started there in kindergarten and so the friends you make there are lifetime friends because you've known them since forever. So the 1 year that I had to leave, it was kind of sad. But then I went to Wakefield, and then I made a whole different group of friends, and I was only there 1 year, and then went back to St. John's. But it helped me because when I came to Pueblo, it's like I knew a lot more students, a lot more people. I didn't feel like some freshmen only know a small group from their school. I felt like I had different friends.
Who was your favorite teacher and why?
I had a lot of favorite teachers. They all seemed to be in the sciences. I had Mr. Hess, Mr. Hitchcock. I had Mr. O'Rourke. I had Mr. Lovetter. They were not in the sciences. I had Mr. Santa Cruz. I just remember that they all just liked what they did. They had a lot of energy. They were very positive. They liked what they did, so it made us feel like the subject. Like I really like PE, and I really like science, and I like my math because my teachers liked what they were doing.
Okay. In your opinion, what was the most important class you took at Pueblo, and why?
Well, reflecting now, I think the most important classes I took were the science classes and the math, because I liked the challenge. They weren't easy classes, but they were challenging. And I think now, looking back, I wasn't afraid of the challenge. Going now to the university when they presented something, it wasn't something I shied away from. It was just something that was a challenge, and so okay, let's figure it out. So I think those were important looking back now. They were the hardest classes. And I think looking back now, I think those were the most important classes I took.
What major historical periods, events, or crises were going on when you attended Pueblo?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I was at school when the basketball team was doing really well at state, and that was a really exciting time, to be here. I was part of the Spirit Squad, so we got to travel to all the games and all that stuff with them. So it was really, really exciting. Historical, I don't remember anything historical, except I remember Elvis, this is going to sound weird, but Elvis Presley was in concert, and then he canceled his tour when we were in Tucson, when he was here, one of my senior year. And then he died that August. So I think I remember that really clear. So I always had that regret of never having to see him in concert. It was that's close, and he got sick and he canceled, and then.
What was your best experience at Pueblo?
My best experience at Pueblo is getting involved. I think I got involved in a lot of things only because I always considered myself to be really, really shy, and I figured, and I like being around social, positive people, and they seemed to not be shy. So, and I wanted to be connected like them, you know, and I wasn't. I felt like I wanted, my insides were in this little box, and it was really scary that I didn't like that. So I said the only way that people will not know that I'm not shy or that I can pull it off is if I got involved. So I forced myself to get involved. I was involved in student council, and I was involved in the spirit squad, and you have to try out, and I just about died, but I was so happy that I made it. And that was the best thing for me, because it forced me to get out of that little box. I still think I'm really shy, but you have to force yourself to, you know, to do things to overcome what you're not comfortable with about yourself.
Who was your greatest inspiration during high school, and why?
My greatest inspiration, I want to say my family, my mom. She going to college was never not an option. You know, it was always, I never thought of not going. It was always when you go, or take these classes because you are going and you'll be ready when you go. She's really always really patient. I think that's, now reflecting back, I think I got my patience from her, because I seem to tolerate, I have a high tolerance for a lot of things, and I'm really patient. But my greatest inspiration, I think, is my family, my mom and my dad. And I still get inspired from my students, the ones that are working really, really hard, and I like to see their light bulb, so it inspires me to work harder for them. I get inspired every day.
Do you have any high school regrets?
Regrets? None. And I tell my students I would not ever do high school again. Only because I feel like I did what I wanted to do. You know, I joined the clubs I wanted to do. I played the sports I wanted to play. I never wanted to have regrets, and I knew that then. And I think for my family, I said, do what you have so you don't regret anything. So I even share that with my students, do it, because it's awful to live in the land of should've and could've and I would've. You know, so no, I don't have regrets. I wouldn't do high school again, and only because it's such a time where you're so insecure. You have so many people telling you what to do.
What sports were you?
I played softball, and I played tennis. Not on the team. There was a thing called intramural, so we were allowed to play lots of different things, sort of not in PE, but in between. And so I remember enjoying those a lot. And I remember they conflicted with being on the spirit squad, so I chose that.
What's education like when you attended Pueblo?
Education, I think it was, times have changed, standards have changed, but I think my teachers, because they liked what they did, they always wanted to challenge us. So I remember being in challenging classes, and I think education is still like that. You know, teachers are asked to make things relevant to the real world and have these high standards. And I remember my teachers having those high standards for our time. So in that sense, I don't think it's, I mean, times have changed. So things with technology, of course we didn't have a computer, we didn't have cell phones. So in that sense, it's changed. And now I don't know what I would do without it. Right? Is that bad to say? But I don't know what I would do without my computer or my, I mean, we used to, everything was done by hand. The typewriter, we had to type everything and then retype it because there was no word editing. I mean, those things have changed. But as opposed to challenging classes and teachers challenging students, you know, as a student, I had teachers that challenged me. I try to do the same.
What was college like? Was there a huge transition between high school and college, or?
College was, I was really blessed to have friends that we all had the same interests. We all were going to college, so we just applied and we got accepted and we went. It was just a natural transition. And then we studied together, we went out together at the same time. So in that sense, it was not a bad transition. It was interesting that there was very few of us there. I mean, it's a whole different culture when you go on to the university.
When you say culture, what do you mean by that?
Everybody's more focused, and it's it's like a whole different city, and you see people from all different countries and they speak all these different languages. And so being at Pueblo with all of us looking the same, you know, we go over there and not all of us looked like us. So that part, it was just eye-opening to know. And everywhere you walked, and our teachers, we had to get to listen to lectures and have to understand their accent, because they were from China and from Japan, and their accents were not something we were used to. So that was a big transition. But after you overcome that, and your ear and your mentality gets used to it, then it's like you don't notice that anymore. But it's just that curve you have to get past.
What college did you go to?
To the UA.
What are your new goals and dreams?
My new goal is to help my daughter finish. She's at the U of A now, so I do what I can to support her. That's a goal. Let's see. I was very lucky to go to an exchange program, a teacher exchange program in Spain, and right when I first started teaching. So my goal is to go back and kind of relive those times that, I mean, I was there for a summer, so I remember the college, I remember the smells and the food, and it's sort of fading. I would like to go back and say, okay, you know, it's on my bucket list.
How was it going to Spain?
It was amazing. It was amazing. I recommend all students to travel, to live somewhere else before they settle down. I was very lucky that I did it when I was single, and I was right out of college, and it was a scholarship program, so I mean, it was great. We traveled, we ate, we saw, it was just amazing.
Was it you and the same group of friends, or?
Oh, no, I was already teaching here, and there was a scholarship open. Actually, I'm real lucky. There's 3 of us that were teachers here that were chosen, so I got to go with people I knew and got to know them better over there. So that was really fun.
Who inspires you today?
My family inspires me, my students inspire me. I tend to gravitate towards positive people, so anybody who's doing a positive thing, I kind of I go listen, I go feed off their energy, and I learn from them. So.
Okay. For our last question, we will focus on the Yes Club.
Okay.
That we have here at Pueblo. Can you talk about your club?
I got involved with Yes about 4 years ago when they needed a sponsor, and they called them Champions. And it's sponsored by an outside agency from Child and Family Resources, and it's just empowers kids. Yes stands for Youth Empowered for Success, and it trains kids and empowers kids to make a difference in their school. So because I like being around positive people and people that want to make a difference, that would just seem to fit with what with me. So, and I have a great group of kids. I mean, the first group maybe was about 10, and now we're up to about 40 kids, and they're constantly coming up with ideas how to make the school better. They've done things from increasing school spirit, so they do this Blue Man Crew, and they dress up in blue and cheer at the football games, to the parking lot project, that blue and blue, they painted all the blue, dark blue and light blue.
Oh, yeah.
To kind of make the school prettier. I don't. The cleanup at lunch, they were concerned about the messiness at lunch, so they started doing activities at lunch and then encouraging kids to clean up and then still play. So all those things, it comes from them. And so it's just fun to just kind of sit back and hear them. And I guess as an adult, I'm supposed to say, that's going to have to take some steps. I kind of guide them in having to get the proper paperwork done, or the proper, talk to the right people. But the rest, they do. And if they fall, they learn from that, which is even amazing. they've had some events where it didn't come out the way they wanted to, and then they talk about it and kind of regroup, and then when they do it again, it is so much better, and that's fun to watch.
What are some of the top projects from this group?
Okay, well, they've done, the Blue Man Crew is to increase school spirit. They do Yes Fridays, where they do activities at lunch to help encourage kids to clean up and kind of mix it up a little bit. They still see that there's cliques or groups that hang out. I guess it's always been like that. It was like that when I was in high school, but they say, once in a while it's good to mix it up and kind of have kids come out of their little group and kind of join other groups. So they try to do fun stuff with that. This year, this is from this past year, they did a flash mob with the Tucson Meet Yourself, and they came and taught the dance here, and so they had all these practices. We had over 200 kids practicing in the gym for September and almost every week, and then they all went and they performed at the Tucson Meet Yourself, and it was all the sea of blue shirts. There was from all different schools, but most of them were from here, which was really, really nice.
What was the dance that they had to learn from?
It was that initiative from Michelle Obama, the Move Your Body, like everybody's starting to get, it was to try to get them to exercise more in a fun way. And so it was to the Beyonce song, Move Your Body. You know that song?
Yeah, I've heard
so
it.
there's a little dance clip on her video, and they had to learn that. So people came and taught the dance, and then our kids, we have great dancers here, so then they started teaching. And they would go out there at lunch and teach, and it was just amazing to see it spread. And it was just fun to just watch them all, you just kind of get them started and then just let them fly.
What made you feel like you had to take on this responsibility?
Again, it stands for Youth Empowered. So anything that makes kids do things in a positive way and makes them feel like they've made a difference, it just kind of goes with what I feel and what I believe. So it was something that just came natural to me. When they asked me to do it, it was not. It is a lot of work, but I don't regret the time spent. I've had a lot of fun with it.
I want to talk about the mural.
The mural.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about the mural.
So we know that you were the one behind the mural, and why did you do it? Like, what made you feel that you needed it?
I was working with Teresa Toro in the class of 2012.
Oh, our class.
Your class. When we were planning the prom. And you guys were juniors in my class. 2011 we're seniors. And she pitched it. We were trying to get the prom to be this bigger event. It had been an okay event, and now we wanted it to her and I wanted it to be a bigger event because we knew it was our last chance for our class to leave a meaningful gift to our school, and that was the last chance for them to raise enough money to do that. So we figured if we did it together, it would just be better. Okay, so she pitched that her goal for your class, 2012, she wanted a mural painted in the front of the school. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so then she pitched it to our class of 2011. Remember, you guys, she was the junior class, and I was with the senior class. I was sponsoring the senior class. And she said, let's do it together. Let's raise the money you guys raise from your prom. And then we will put it together with our money, and we'll have this huge mural. And so our kids from the class of 2011 said, we'd have to wait till you guys graduated to finally see it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they didn't want that. They wanted to have their own thing. So, and you probably, you're saying, well, if you're not going to see your fruits of your class till a year or two later, you would want that. So they thought about it, and as a class, they debate, and yes, let's do it with the class of 2012. No, and finally, I said, okay, if you don't want to do it, then go out there and find something. What do you want to leave? So they saw the wall in the cafeteria. Did you remember from what was before? Came back and they said, what if we do something with that wall? And Mr. Mena, who had already proposed to do the mural for your class, we we asked him, would you be willing to do something with that wall? He went in there and he goes, he saw a huge canvas and says, oh, I could do a lot of things with that wall. And so that's where it started. So he brought us ideas and we went through the, you know, to get it approved, and it just started this process. And it wasn't an easy process because of all the politics and because of the warrior. You know, we wanted the class of 2011's theme was Seek the Warrior Within. And it's just to get kids inspired to get involved. Just get involved in anything. Get involved in a sport, in a club, just make a difference. Leave your footprint here at school. That was their theme. And so for it to be on the wall, they didn't want the wolf. Because you know the controversy with the wolf and the warrior. And they didn't want the wolf up there to represent their inner warrior. They wanted a warrior to represent their warrior. So all the politics involved with that, and that's a whole different talk. But we had to get that Cuauhtemoc, the Aztec warrior, approved. So we took it to the district and went, and Mr. Raul Aguirre, who's also an alumnus, you know, went in there and bat for us, because I couldn't leave the classroom, so I had to ask somebody in the community to kind of help us out with that. And between my husband and him, you know, they're doing all the running around, it finally got approved about 2 weeks before graduation. So it was amazing. It was amazing. It was, the kids were, we needed to announce it at graduation, otherwise if you don't have it by graduation, it kind of just fizzles. And the kids worked so hard, they needed to know something for sure. So that was an amazing project. So now you've seen what it is. And the Cuauhtemoc was approved to represent your inner warrior. It's got the culture pieces. I made sure and talked to all the clubs on campus to make sure their logo or something was represented. All you know, sports were represented. We go out there and check every single phase. There's things we need to take down, you know, we needed to add. So we did that all. It took us a while. And it was the goal before they graduate is to have something unveiled by homecoming, because that's the only time kids come back. Homecoming is when the alumni are, and so we knew that we wouldn't see, when they graduated in May, we wouldn't see them until homecoming. For some reason, that's the only time you'll come back. It's just sad to think about that. Hopefully you come back a lot, but you get busy. And then you say, oh, I remember homecoming, everybody's gonna meet, and they all come back. And so we wanted something there. And right that week before homecoming, which was the last week of October, and it was ready. It was just amazing.
You said that you had problems with the politics?
Only because of the warrior, you know, and that's a whole different issue. You know, the Native American warrior to represent a warrior was taken down from the school, and you know that. And so our kids still see themselves as a warrior, and a person that represents them as a warrior. But there are so many different warriors. You know, it's not just one Native American warrior, and then that's when the Aztec warrior Cuauhtemoc, and nobody seemed to have a problem with. And then what Cuauhtemoc represents, you know, the strength, you know, fighting to the end, fighting for what you believe in. You know, if you Google his history, you'll see all that, and you'll say, oh, okay, you know. So, and Mr. Mena is very passionate, so he brought it to life and pitched it to the kids, and the kids says, okay, that's what we want. So you just have to convince certain people, and make it happen.
Well, this is the end of our interview, and thank you very much.